Hello, hello. This is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. So, I just shifted to the ninth perspective and I'm like recording it. And I told you I'm probably just going to be binging these all night long, going, whoa, guess what? Whoa, because this is how I do shit. Which brings me to this video. All the weird shit I have done all my life in the name of research. We're going to do this. I have come up with some really awesome shit. I was doing a video yesterday. Yeah, my paper. And my paper. And I was talking about how when I was 15, I started to notice my mood swings and my behavioral differences. So I created this massive graph paper. I mean, I drew it by hand and then I walked up to my dad and I said, "Can you take this to your work office?" It's a thing of the 80s and print out like 50 copies, please. And my dad, and I will be very blunt, this is truly one of the things my father did for me that was very loving. Like, loving parents can be bad parents too. Really swallow that, people. It's a horrible one, but it's true, and it's holding us all back. Loving good people, loving good parents can also be really bad parents. So, it's the one thing that my father did through all of my 20 years is the amount of composition paperwork I gave to my dad and said, "Hey, can you Xerox this? I need 100 copies." Or, "Hey, can you print out this? It's like 50 copies." He's retired now, so he's not going to get fired for all this. He literally printed out, I can't tell you, it was like a weekly thing of he would come home with stacks of paper of my composition. So I had blank composition paper all my life so I could compose my music. Same thing with my research. And when I was doing geometry and mathematics, it would be like, "I need these formulas printed out, please." So it was wonderful. It was also in the day before there was such thing as home printers. We didn't have those yet. So I would sit down and I would write out all of my mood swings, and I had this massive grid, and I literally tracked it for years, just documenting every little flux. And then I would try shit and I would apply it and I would watch it fluctuate my moods. And it was great because when I got into exercise, it like spiked way up and I went, "Whoa, isn't that interesting?" And I analyzed my data. Oh yeah, I analyzed all of my data. My favorite thing was accumulating all of it. It was like tracking it every day and then going back over it and looking at it all going, "This is fascinating. This is fascinating." Oh, it was the most amazing shit I have ever seen in my life. That's up there with some of the and when I was done the other day, I pull up my piece of paper. So I did this for 30 years and I pulled it up and I was like, for this graph. And it's this ridiculously botched amateur graph of this. And it's basically, I was talking about the sea drops. And it was literally like, you don't see the 30 years of sweat and tears that went into that little piece of paper, people. And that's it. That's it. And another thing I did is a year ago, I moved into this apartment that I'm in now. And oh my God, guy was really nice. Turns out he was a grandiose narcissist. It went real bad real fast, especially when I found out that he was pocketing all of my money instead of actually paying anything. So it became apartment warfare. And I was also going through the way of the Buddha at the time. So suffering was like, yes, I was so grateful for the suffering with a narcissist. I truly was. So I'm sitting here like saying, thank you for this opportunity to learn shit. And every night we gave him code. See, I had to turn the positive, happy, and light because my daughter was also living with him. And so we were like, he would go into one of his moods and we would call him the sad little fat dragon with no friends. And it was enough that it put a cheery, happy spin on it to make it less traumatic. So, and then he'll be sitting there acting out and I'll just sit here and like take notes. And I was documenting for the entire year, living with a narcissist, the stages of narcissism. Like I sat there and researched his behavior up close and personal. And oh, I learned so much. so much. I've got data like crazy. Well, he finally moved out, and it has been extraordinary. Like the abundance just piles in. So then I would do social experiments with people. I did the smiling. I did the let's go ahead and do this. Like I deliberately, I'm doing one right now with my partner, and I don't realize that I'm doing these. It's so embedded into part of my character that I don't even realize. You understand that you are literally using a lot of people for psychological research. Oh, like it just occurred to me, and I had an epiphany where I went, instead of me writing down my manifestations, where I talk about my gratitude journal, I decided to share it with my partner. So not only am I doing this, do this assignment. Not only am I sitting down, writing all this down, but I'm also sending it to him, giving him the stuff that I manifest, which is just gratitude journaling. So I'm looking at it going, wow, reciprocity. That's like a whole giving, receiving, and then reciprocity on top of that, and then mirroring, and whoa. And so this is the kind of stuff I do. I love to stack mental wellness things. I stack them. That's what I do. I go, okay, so let's sample this little thing over here. This is meditation. Yes, let's try this over here. This is yoga. All right, that's interesting. But what happens when we combine them? And then I go, this is Tai Chi over here. Yes, I love Tai Chi. Absolutely love Tai Chi. And then I did karate. But I noticed that my mood changed when I switched over to the katas. Katas are basically the karate version of Tai Chi. So I was like, all right, this is like my jam. And then I realized that I was getting triggered by the violence from the punching bags. I love punching bags. So I quit karate and switched over to Tai Chi full time, which is code for I do it once in a while. And then I combined the Tai Chi with the yoga and the meditation. And then I discovered manifestation and went, yes, let's put that in there. So what else can I pick up? So I get this big grocery bag. And I'm just going through Reiki healing. Put that one in. What else do we have here? I do not do hypnotherapists. No hypnotherapy does not go in my bag. I will tell you a story about Joanna, the altar, who decided to cram all of the people inside of my brain and then had her memory wiped by the subconscious mind that they were even there. Hypnosis would have fucked around with that system. I don't do hypnosis. I do not condone it for that reason, because you don't know what is inside the 4th and 5th levels of the subconscious mind. Watch the movie House. Watch the TV show House, okay? It's the episode House's Brain, Wilson's Heart. That is why you don't fuck around with hypnotherapy, because that shit is fucking real, because I lived it. It's real. You do not do hypnosis. You do not know what the subconscious mind has wiped clean and buried under there. I do. Me. That's where I lived for 38 years, in the 4th level of the fucking subconscious mind. God knows what the fuck would have happened if Joanna had decided, let's do hypnotherapy. Thank fucking God she didn't. Because it was me crammed into the 4th level of my subconscious mind. Do not do hypnotherapy. Fucking dangerous. So anyway, I got my bag of groceries. And I'm walking around and I'm picking up all these really awesome things and I'm throwing them into my bag. I got a cocktail. And I want to put them all in at the same time. I got havening in here. Oh, yes. I love havening. And yes. So I'll blend them all together. That's what I do for my energy healing circles. I combine all of the things with one of my lectures. Yeah, I combine all of the things with one of my lectures. There's something I want to do. And it's going to be a really risky move on my end, but I'm a really high risk roller. So risk is kind of like up my alley. It's not that I'm a high risk if you can see the manifestation, is it? This is a really good philosophical point now. Is it high risk when you can manifest it? Interesting. Maybe I'm not high risk at all. What I really want to do is public speaking. What I really want to do is give talks around the world. That's really what I want to do. What I really want to do is host events. I love executive producing. I was an executive producer for 5 years. That's what I did when I ran Brain to Books. I was an executive producer. I want to go back to being an executive producer. By the way, talking about what you want is manifesting. I miss being an executive producer. Only now I have resources, wisdom, a really fucking awesome thing to give people. What I really want to do is Anna's Elite. The Healing Garden Getaway Resorts. That's really what I want to do. What I really want to do is World Peace Manifestation Day and Operation Imagination for world peace. That's really what I want to do. I don't want to coach. I don't want to sit down and be a therapist. My goal is much bigger than just one person. I want 8 billion people. They say, how many people do you want to help every day? And then people will say, 5 people, 5 people. They'll ask the business owner, how many people do you want to serve every day? And the problem is, no matter what number I say, it's too small. And so today I said 8 billion. That is my goal. 8 billion people. That is my goal. Because anything less than that is not good enough for me. Every person is worth 8 billion of us. Every person is worth all of us. Welcome to the 9th perspective. So, sitting in a group with 20 people is not fulfilling for me because there's a big world out there. And hitting 20 people in one week, 40 people in another week, I have the power and the gift of articulation. I have the ability to take anything I want to say and condense it into a few words. That is a really good skill for talking to millennials, ADHD people, Gen Zs, and the Alpha generation. And I am really, really good at taking what I've created and condensing it into little nugget bite-sized pieces with multiple resources such as an article and these videos. So I can easily put together my Pack a Punch course, which I've already done. And you can go in, grab whatever you need for whatever mental illness and pack a punch. And maybe if you follow everything I tell you exactly as I tell you to do it, and I give you the reasons why, when you should manifest, how to manifest, the theory behind manifestation, with my triadic healing, I am pretty sure we can start healing a lot more than 20 people a week. So I will be making the Healing Garden free for everybody because my goal is not money. My goal is getting this to people. I will figure out how to make money some way else. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But this is it. I'll be changing the prices over in a few days. But I will be posting all of my master classes free Membership is still available. I have an app coming soon. I'm doing public speaking. But when I created Triadic Healing, one of the things that I really sat down and looked at it was this should not be hoarded for money. This is way too important. This is way too fucking important. Everyone needs to understand this shit and fast. I ethically cannot hoard any of the knowledge. I can't do it because it is too important. Everyone needs this now. So this week I will be announcing that my healing garden will be free. Tell everybody. I start breaking down exactly what it is. It is the solution for what is wrong with the world, and I explain why and how. It's all on my website. I have articles on my blog explaining it, www.honnesthealinggarden.org. You can go take a look at exploratory dialogues under treasure map, and it will show you. I lay it out in articles. I have Operation Imagination, where I break down my ultimate goal of getting us to world peace using global manifestation. June 2024, we will be meeting live in New York City. Those are my goals. Those are my goals. I'll just manifest the money. I'll just manifest the money. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to manifest the money, and the garden's free. The garden is free. I just don't believe that knowledge should ever be paid for. I don't think there should ever. No. It's very fourth perspective. I noticed that a lot. Fourth perspective will take education, knowledge, and information and put a price tag on it. Wikipedia was built by sixth perspectives. And I think this is one of my massive emotional conflicts that I've had inside of me from day one is, why are you charging? You know you should not be charging for this. But I've got a bunch of fourth perspectives screaming at me over here going, oh, you need to make sure that this thing isn't free for everybody because, you know, if you can do something really well, then you should do it for free. Then you shouldn't do it for free. And that grated on me. Why shouldn't you do it for free? Why shouldn't you do it for free? I know why. I know exactly why. Because they're in a hoarder mentality. Because they are catering to the scarcity concept. That is sales manipulation, which I also have an ethical problem with. Education and information helps everybody. It helps everybody. It should never be hoarded. Education should be free. All of it. Or else you have things like universities and colleges, which I would not say are the most ethical things in the world. You know this, though. We all know exactly what we think of an expensive education, when education should be free. We hurt our unit and ourselves and the entire system and the world every time we hoard knowledge. Some things are too valuable to put a price tag on. And when they become that valuable, when they become priceless, that's when they need to become free, because they are priceless. And then there's the psychological argument. Well, if they don't pay for it, they're not committed. Fucking bullshit. Gaslighting. You pay it forward. You make the world a better place. Okay. I have no idea where I'm going. I just know that this is the road I have to go. As I said, there will be an app. But holding on to actual information and knowledge, no, I cannot do that. And I can feel the alignment already. I can feel my ethics. I can feel my lifestyle. Now, let me show you what I just did because I just figured out something. After my 9th perspective shift, I went, whoa, I need to like stay at home and figure this shit out. So I'm sitting here and I had the whole, this is what it feels like. This is the new perspective. This is what it thinks like. The next stage is analyzing your own ethics. You have to go back to the beginning now and say, okay, check the lifestyle. How's everyone doing? Are you living accordingly now to the new ethic? Because we got some information happening here. This is fantastic. I'm going to like map all this out. It's like, I'll tell you what it is. This is like the next stage of the cognitive course. So it shifts and it shifts and it shifts. And then boom, with a new perspective. The subconscious mind just stepped back and went, hold it, everybody. We have a new perspective. Check the cognitive core. And they're all sitting there now, like all huddled around it. I can see identity there. I can see the defense system there. And they have to do a full realignment of the entire fucking system. So now here's Rick. That's the name of my subconscious mind. So here's Rick looking at it all, analyzing each one of the 5 chambers. Again, there's identity, ethics, beliefs, the naming. Okay, now, how is everyone going? How are you feeling, identity? Is any change? How are you feeling? Do you still love the person you love? How are you doing with that? And identity does this. I feel like I want to have sex. That's identity. She's like, nope, I'm ready. I understand it now. I want to put my theories to test. My celibacy is officially over. Yep. That is how identity feels. All right. Now let's take a look at the social life. How are we doing with our ethics on the social life? Where are we on our circle of trust? I still have only one person in my circle of trust. So far I have a population of 1. Okay, then. You work on that. Any other people who might be in the running? It's too soon to tell. I don't know. I don't know. But I definitely still have the ethic of there's obstacles to get to me. And I got boundaries now. Oh, the defense system is up. I got boundaries now. Oh, that would be Bergen. Oh. Bergen was my defense system the whole damn time. One day, I will break down multiple personalities for you in my videos. Bergen was my defense system. Eric was my communications. Oh God, that was so fucking hard to learn. Oh my God, that took too long to figure out. Eric was my imaginary friend when I was 12 years old, and he stuck around until I was 21. I did research to figure out why I was having an imaginary friend between the ages of 12 and 21, because you're supposed to, right? You're supposed to have an imaginary friend around the age of 2. And it's usually for isolation purposes because you feel that fucking alone. And I couldn't figure out what Eric was. So Eric was my communication system. I loved him. Wow. And then Bergen was my defense system. So then the defense system is evaluated. How is everything on the defense front? How are the boundaries? Any changes there? Do you feel anything different about the boundaries? I love my boundaries. I feel more confident. Yes, I definitely feel more confident being in the 9th perspective. Confidence has gone up. That, by the way, that's an emotion that comes from, oh, this is going to be so much more fun than doing structured classes in a closed environment. Ugh, I hate that shit. All right, I might have to go back to the subconscious dialogues to act all of this out for you. Thank you very much. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I might be doing that. Subconscious dialogues might have a comeback. All right. I have to do a part 2 because now it's like subconscious dialogues of the 9th perspective. Okay, here we go. Confidence is definitely up. I can report that in. Okay. What else? I feel like anger and I have kind of settled things now. Like anger's chill. Anger is chill. Anger reports. Anger is chill. All right. And your communication systems. They are going to get a lot better very soon. I see great things coming with the communication system. Phenomenal. And that completes inventory on the defense system. I have no fear system. It's down. Jerry, Jerry is the name of my fear system. Jerry, how are things over there? And Jerry reports that literally everything is shut down. I have soothed and reassured the hell out of Jerry. And I may have given him some weed. I do that a lot with Jerry. Well, not anymore. I used to do that a lot with Jerry. It was the only way to shut him up. Oh my God, there was a lot of medicating Jerry in the early days. I'm glad he's got his shit together now. All right. I have no guilt system. And my narcissists are now out of my head and gone. So third parties are all absent. My ethics now. So what changes have I made in my ethics between 8th and 9th? Every person is worth 8 billion of us. Atonement, determination, and giving. Those should be the first 3 emotions in our vocabulary. That is what is going to make the world a better place. Atonement, determination, and reciprocity. My opinion of sex has finally changed. My feeling on monogamy has changed, and my feeling of polyamory has changed. So this is going to be the age of sex for me. That is the 9th perspective. I'm going to have a lot of data. I'm happy about this. And then my feelings of love are the same. Everything else is pretty much the same. I can just see how the giving and the receiving are woven with positive and negative sides of each into the perspective grid. Ooh, that's a word I'm going to call it, is the perspective grid. So after a perspective shift, you have to do an inventory. How about your beliefs? And in fact, this afternoon, I wrote down things about myself that I want to manifest to improve. For instance, I noticed that I lack patience a lot of times, especially when I'm writing, and I get overwhelmed when I have too much to write. And I need to be more open to receive people. And that is those are my 2 big things, is allowing me to be more open to people to receive and working on my patience and overwhelm. So I did an inventory of my beliefs, my names, and I feel much more chill than 8th perspective. 8th perspective, I felt cocky at the end. I felt aggressive and angry. And now I'm chill, like it's definitely more mature. But I think I know what that was. I did require the anger. I believe that anger is part of the 8th perspective. Oh, isn't that interesting? Wow. Oh, 8th perspective. Anna, write this down. Oh my God. 8th perspective is all about learning anger, learning your relationship with your defense system. Oh my God, that was huge. That was a huge part of being eight, was finally when you realize that you can open up your voice and communicate for the first time, and you get your communication system back. Part of that is understanding just how severely you were abused. Because when you feel it coming back, you realize the power that's coming back to you. And you go, oh my God, this is what they took away from me. And you get angry. Oh, at the end, especially when I started to realize just how powerful communication was, I had this massive surge of anger. And there was this day very recently, it was like only 3 days ago, where I stepped back and I said, why am I so angry? And it was just a realization that I could use my voice. It was that easy to be obeyed. It was that easy to be respected. And I never even considered it because that's what they made me think. That's what they took away from me. So part of the eighth perspective, when you get your communication system back, you're also going to go through a period of severe anger because you realize just how much was taken away, how much could have been prevented, how different your life will be just because you can communicate and set a boundary. It's night and day. The abuse, most of the abuse we suffer is because we don't communicate. If you communicate, you are suddenly not someone you can be abused. Because rule number one of any abuser, they need somebody who cooperates. They need silence. So when they select you, you've got to be quiet. You have to be their secret keeper. And if they think you can't keep a secret, oh, they won't touch you. They won't touch you. They have to guarantee you are someone who is silent. That's what they do when they take away from you. They make you vulnerable to abuse because you become somebody who won't speak up. You become their secret keeper by force. That's one of the abuses you go through when you're abused, is being held as secret keeper for someone you don't want. You feel responsible to and for your abusers. Speak up. Break the silence. Talk about your abuse. Because it takes the power away from them. It ends the secret keeping. Oh, I loved when I learned that. I wrote broken. Oh yeah, I wrote broken. So when I did this, I wrote broken, my memoir, 90,000 words. Oh, I told everything. I just pulled out that book and I wrote, and I'm like, here's what everybody did to me. And then I published it. Because I refused to be their secret keeper any longer. And that's it right there. You need to refuse to be their secret keeper. And then I got to the end of eighth, and I calmed down again because I realized I don't need to be angry. I don't need to be angry. And that's when the ninth opened up. And now I feel I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I definitely know this is very much gifted based. But when we shift a perspective, our subconscious mind steps back and does a full inventory. How's the perspective? Because everything needs to make sure it's aligned. We need to make sure that the identity is stable. We need to make sure the ethics are stable. We need to make sure that our names, is everything still valid? Is there any inventory loss? I need to think about my love, my partner, because this changes a lot with him for the good. But it definitely changes a lot for him. I don't. So what that is the alignment of when your perspective, once it shifts again, You have to make sure that you are all now in alignment. I had to step and go, okay, subconscious mind just shifted, guys. Subconscious mind is now in the ninth. How are we doing? Identity. How's the ethics of the perspective? Is that also a 9? Yes, yes. The subconscious mind and the ethical perspective identity are both 9s. Fantastic. How's this environment doing? The environment is definitely going to be a 9. All right. And the business. Is the business a 9? Well, it will be once we change the prices. Then it will be a 9. I have been an ethical 9 for a long time, because only an ethical 9 would have felt guilt over charging prices. Guilt is not shame. We really need to start using the right words, people. I didn't even recognize guilt. Shame is the feeling you feel when your parents make you feel guilty. Making to feel guilty is shame. Being made to feel guilty is shame. True guilt is a message from your subconscious mind to the ego saying, you are not honoring your ethics. No one is forcing you. You are not honoring your ethics. Fix it. And I didn't. I ignored it. I ignored the emotion guilt because I did not recognize it. I've never felt that feeling before. Wow, that is a new feeling. So that is what guilt feels like. It's when you get a nudge telling you that something is wrong and that you should change it, but you don't because you're afraid. Why was I afraid? Because you didn't trust the universe, because you were afraid. I see. Guilt. I felt that back in the 6th perspective. There is a state of pure alignment. And I want for nothing more than just to get to that point of alignment, because that is the state where all negative emotions end. You just sit in this pool of happy, positive yumminess. And you don't need weed to get there. If you love shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want more shit like this, and if you want to participate in my daily meditation delivered right to your inbox, subscribe to my amphitheater down below. And if you cannot get enough shit like this, go to www.anashealinggarden.org and click Get Started. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.